Hello, travelers. I'm introducing myself. I'm Matt Jackson, a voice in the wilderness. That's why I called you travelers, because we're all out here in the wilderness trying to make our way. And, well, more about me first, I guess. I'm introducing myself. I'm living out here in Montana. I'm originally from New Jersey, Passaic, New Jersey. You guys out there. um, I'm 68 years young, and I'm on a mission. I'm trying to change this unjust, unequitable, unsustainable economic system we're living under. Well, that's what this whole thing is. That's what this website is about. Uh, and most of the information that comes through it will be about that one way or another. It'll be about change, it'll be about current events, and because of current events, why we need to change. It's ridiculous. It's gone too far. Uh, this great experiment, United States of America, it's a beautiful thing, and well, the idea, it's a beautiful thing, and this can be a beautiful country. We don't need all this, what we're mess that we're going through. We don't need all this division and deprivation, depriving people of rights and depriving people of opportunity. Um, it's time. It's been time for some kind of change. And what we're looking at, I mean, okay, you got one side is, uh, and I really was never uh, a Democrat or a Republican. I never thought about uh, government that way. Um, and what's going on is just, besides making me sick, um, it's deplorable. It is. It really is. That you would have people in government uh, trying to overthrow it, trying to uh, undo democracy. But this is nothing new. This has been going on for uh, since governments, since the first government, probably, because uh, in my explanation of things over time, and you'll understand that no state ever came into existence other than by force. So this is nothing new. But this lie thing, even though that's not new either, it's nothing. It's not new. It's what people have to do, what people have to do to stay in power. When they're unjust. So, excuse me. Um, people have to be alienated and uh, oh, this is all with rhetoric and lies and stuff like that. Demonized and stereotypes and all this here. It's old and it's late. It's 2021 going into 2022, and we're still fighting the same battles and kicking these dead horses and all this here stuff. And we're going to get at that. We're going to get at a lot of issues. There's a lot of what's going on. And you're going to see how they're all intertwined. They're all under the same umbrella. You might be surprised in some of the areas, and in some of these areas you shouldn't be anyway. After what we've seen these past 4 years, but then we've been seeing it creeping up on us over these decades. Really, uh, the 70s, and when I was young, I started seeing it. That's kind of like when I got on this kind of quest that I've been on, but only recently did I, did the information come together to where I even understand. Did she leave anything down there? Okay. But anyway, this is it's a chance. It's a way forward, you know, that I'm going to be speaking about. And I'm going to keep pushing. I believe in it. And I believe that once people start to, well, if you sit down and listen, I might be a little boring and like that, but I'm not lying, and I'm not uh, 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 there's nothing race based in this. I'm not into that. I'm not into um, I'm not into race anyway. I mean, I don't believe in. I only believe in one race, and that's it. That's all I've ever believed in was the human race, and that's it. You I can get along with and have and I came from in New Jersey. I grew up in a very diverse town. My immediate community was diverse, and so we played and worked and whatever together. We babysat each other's kids and whatever, all that. You know, we ate at each other's houses. We cooked out and did whatever. It was community. But, now it's like you got to get people to understand there's no community when you don't know your neighbor. You don't know who your next door neighbor is. And that's a lot of the problem. You know, we've gotten to this individualistic issue or way of life where it's all about me and mine, my little circle. And we're not made that way. We're being kind of forced against our own nature, and that's what a lot of this government thing is doing. Is well, first thing they did was change the narrative about themselves. They're no longer servants. Now they're leaders. Now they're telling us what we need. How, unless you go when you go to the doctor, unless you tell him what's wrong, he don't know. Unless you tell him what you need, he don't know. Unless it's obvious, something obvious and stuff like that. But you know, they are servants. They're not supposed to be telling us what we need. They're supposed to be making the needs of the people so. They're supposed to be making it so. That's what it's about. That's what we pay them for. But they've taken on this leadership thing, and in so doing, they've taken on the rich as uh, their leaders. I guess the rich, I guess, bought them or whatever, because it seems like all they're doing is working to funnel our money and resources to the rich. So, well, our money and the money for our resources to the rich. Put it that way, because we're still fighting the same battles. We're still fighting for education and infrastructure and military. Well, not military. They'll spend every dime they can on the military. But the things that the people need, their uh, 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 needs on the ground, healthcare, education, infrastructure, all those issues are always in every voting cycle. That's the talking points. So now that we have a president that is trying to get it done, the other side is trying to get rid of democracy. They're trying to take our voting rights. They're trying to push women's rights back. They're, you know, trying to push back on civil rights, or that same obstructionist behavior they've always had about civil rights and stuff. So look, it's time. The country is too diverse. There's really uh, uh, no way forward in this. You know, we just stop here and whatever happens happens. I guess, right? That's, because you don't have any plans. You're not running on anything. You're not coming up with any policy other than deprivation, other than depriving people of stuff. But I got a plan for that. And it's a viable plan. It's a sustainable plan. It'll move us forward as a country peacefully and economically sound and equitably. We'll get rid of a lot of the corruption. Not so much getting rid of the corruption, but the way things set up is open to corruption. So the change that would be made would immediately shut down a lot of the access to corruption. That's what I'm looking for, was the access to corruption. Our revenue would be easier to monitor, because it would be going from one place. We would be getting it, acquiring it from one place, and it would just be going to another. And from there, it would be dispersed into the running the government, healthcare, education, infrastructure, and the military, and all those little nuances in between, like retirement and child care and all that stuff, those things. But believe me, it is, I think, the way to go. The reason I'm getting out here, I was on Facebook, and as much as I did like speaking to my friends and family and stuff like that, it's the message, it wasn't getting out. And well, now I'm hopefully somebody will sit down and listen. Listen objectively, and not see this black guy up here talking and disavow anything I have to say. You know what I'm saying? Just listen, because it's the truth. That's what I'm here for. That's, I have no motives in this. It's about the country. It's about our children and our grandchildren and great grandchildren. We want to see them be able to prosper and have a world to live in. We have so much to do, but we need to free up capital. We need to free up money to do so. All these things that need to be done, there shouldn't be an argument about whether we should pay for this or whether we should pay for that. If it needs to be, that's why we're in this issue now. It's because people are beholden to the companies that are causing this global issue, the warming or whatever. And they're kicking a dead horse. They want to continue while this is it. This is the world. This is our world. This is the only world we have, and we should be taking care of it, not destroying it. It's about stewardship. It's about taking care of it. That's it. People think because they paid for it or that piece of land that they can do anything they want. And that arrogant nature is what has us in this situation. A lot of it is about arrogance. It's about, I could do what I want to do. And, you know, it's all good. Everybody's entitled to their right to their pursuit of happiness until it infringes upon other people's rights to happiness. And that's where we need to be thoughtful about the things that we do. You know, we're not, nobody's here by themselves, and everything you do affects somebody else. So we need to be more thoughtful about how we do things, how we do anything, because, like I said, whatever you do is going to affect somebody else, and what they do in reaction to what you did is going to affect somebody else, and on that. That's how things go. So we need to be mindful about how we walk. But this is just an introduction, and I can go, man. Look, you don't know. There's so much that needs to be said and needs to be heard and needs to be acted upon. That's what I'm really after is uh, the action part of it. You know, like we need to be in protest of anything to do with voting rights. When you started taking away voting rights, that's the the uh, the root of our democracy is free and fair elections. And you don't want to be fair, then you just need to get out the way. Ain't no sense in all this arguing. Just get out of the way. If you're not going to allow the country to move forward, then, you're not part of it. That's how I see it. You know, you don't want to be an American. You don't want to be part of this great country. You're working to destroy it. Then I really don't understand why all this is still being hashed out. Seriously, there was an actual, you stormed the Capitol trying to overturn an election. Now, years ago, back in the day, that would have been met with some serious stuff. But they seem to be, patting these people on the wrist and even, allowing them to change laws and stuff. And these judges are partisan. They it's uh, uh, justice should be blind. And these guys are working with the you know um, deprivationists. They're trying to deprive people of stuff, and that's another issue: is who writes unjust law? Who is it that writes unjust law? I need to understand that. What kind of people write unjust law? What kind of people write laws that take people's rights? You know, and but then I understand why they're trying to steal elections. Instead of trying to run on policy, you know, because they don't have any policy. So they have to steal elections, and they have to stack the courts with judges that'll go their way, and in that we should be able to remove those judges. That shouldn't be. We shouldn't have judges that will go against basically the law, because if you're okaying stripping voting rights based on voter fraud, which doesn't exist, but you're going to allow laws to be changed based on lies, then you don't need to be sitting on the bench. You don't need to be on the bench. And something should be able to be done about that. Seriously, that makes no sense whatsoever. When you got judges, these life, they have that job for life, and we could be in, but they don't even realize, they go ahead and follow these guys, and then once them guys get in power, they don't need you no more. You got to think about that. They don't need you no more. Once they're in power, they're gonna make somebody king, and then they don't need you. Crony judges. They want people that they can trust, and they know they can't trust you because the people can't trust you. Let me get out of here. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to introduce myself. I bet you this is a little bit of an introduction. I'm not playing. There's much to be said, and like I said, much to be heard. And the biggest issue is this economic change, and we'll be getting into that regularly, along with everything else that comes out, but and I got to learn how to handle this site and all that stuff. So you guys bear with me. I'm going to be here though. And that's another thing. I got to set up post dates and stuff like that. And so, I could be followed a little easier and stuff. And I'd like comments and stuff like that. So, I want to open up actual dialogue with people, because that's what's necessary today. We need to get this all aired out and worked out and starts making steps forward. I love you guys, and be careful out there in the wilderness. It's like I said, it's everybody for themselves, and we need to change that. We need to get back to the collective. We need to start looking after each other again. Because that's how it used to be. We looked after each other. All of us. We looked after each other. So you guys be blessed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, make the best life you can, Until next time. But this was my little introduction. Get to see me, hear me a little bit, a little something about me. I'll be talking, as I'm going, about who I am and all like that. So again, love you guys, and be easy on your journey.